Hey, it's Jamaison, and I have a commission project that I was going to start on, and thought you might appreciate it. Now, this is a project that Bullseye has put out for free. It uses Frit, and I want something a little bit bigger. So this is the Opaline Frit ball project that Bullseye has put out, and they use coarse Frit. And I need a bigger bowl, and so I need to make a lot of Opaline nuggets, little rounds. And so I have been eager to make this, and the commission reached out and said they had a friend who was retiring, wanted to give a present, was thinking about a bowl, and this woman is known for wearing pearls all the time. And I immediately thought of that Opaline bowl that I've been wanting to make for a long time. So I have lots of Opaline scrap here. I'm going to get it all cleaned up. I have some more over here because I'm going to need a lot of glass. I'm going to cut all of this into, squares of different sizes that I can then stack in the kiln to fire to a full fuse and make little balls. So I'm just going to put all of my cuts in here. I'm going to make sure everything's nice and clean before it goes in the kiln. So I'm just going to go ahead and get started cutting. All right, I wanted some dots that are bigger, so I stacked some, and then I wanted some that were smaller, so I just did single layer. But on the stacked ones, I kind of try to turn them to get the best possible opportunity to get a circle. Got a fresh kiln wash shelf. Do not give me any grief about this empty spot back here. I am just not, my back hurts and I'm over it. So I filled this thing up, and fresh kiln wash shelf. I'm going to run this at about, this is Opaline, so you have to be very careful that you don't do too much heat work on Opaline, because it's going to get more and more opaque the more work you do. And this is going to go in for 2 more firings at least, I think, after this. So I think I'm going to do this one at 14 for my kiln, 1465. I'm going to hold for, I don't know, 20 minutes or so, and I'm gonna check it and kind of see how it's doing. If it's all balled up and done, I can skip ahead to the next segment. If I need to add time, I'll add time. So here we go. All right, here they are all fused up. Okay, I did end up using that space. I wanted to make some more bubble pieces using cobalt blue powder, or excuse me, copper cobalt powder. So I made a big slab so that I can cut that up and make some more pieces later for a whole different project. Anyway, here they are. They all rounded up very nicely. Doesn't appear that I had any that ended up touching. I did have to go longer and a little hotter than I had anticipated. So I will post, basically I went 1475 for about 30 minutes. And finally got them rounded up. I checked at 1465, and they just weren't as round as I wanted. So anyway, generally I think these look good, and they all move around fairly well, so nothing stuck to the shelf. Doesn't look like I have any kiln wash underneath, so these are good. Now I gotta collect them all and show you the next step in the project. All right, so I have all of my lovely dots that I got off of my shelf. I'm gonna clean them just to make sure that I don't have any kiln wash on them. And over here I have, this is a 10-inch, I believe, stainless steel ring that is lined with fiber paper. and I've sprayed it with Zip a couple times ago, not fresh today. And I'm just going to use my kiln wash shelf, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to arrange all of my dots in here and basically make a patty of dots that I will fire. I'm going to take it to about 1400 to get a really good a little more than the tack fuse, almost more of a contour fuse on those, and then I will slump it into a bowl. So I always post my schedules in my video notes. If you don't know how to go to the video notes, honestly, just Google it. But if you're on your phone, I think you can click the headline of the video. If you're on your computer, I think you just hit a little button that says more or something. I don't know. Anyway, the firing schedule will be in there. I don't know exactly what I'm going to do yet. I'm not worried about ramping up very quickly, but I am thinking about a very long anneal, depending on how thick this thing ends up becoming. I just want to make sure that all the dots are touching well, and so I'll start to build this out. I have a lot of dots, so certainly I have enough to do this piece. I have a bigger ring and I have a smaller ring. If I have enough dots, I'm probably going to go ahead and do a second piece. This is the one for the commission, but I don't know, while I'm doing this, I might as well fill up the kiln, and so I may do another one too. All right, so you may have seen, I do have a fair amount of these left, and probably enough to make another bowl this size. I did double up in some areas and added extra layer for two reasons. One, I just want to make sure that there are enough connections across all of these dots so that I really get a good fuse on this. I don't want to go full fuse, but I want to make sure that everything is touching something else so that I don't lose any. I may lose one or two. I'm just anticipating that could happen. The other reason why I added an extra layer is that I just want it to look really nice and full. I don't want it to look anemic at all. This is going to be a neat piece. It's a commission, it's a gift for somebody's retirement, and so I just don't want to mess it up either. I've decided, while I thought I would do a second one at the same time, I do love the idea of efficiency there. I'm also a little conservative, and so just in case this doesn't turn out the way I want to have enough dots to redo it and try again. I don't want to have to make all those dots again, because it's just not fun to me. Maybe it's cathartic to you, but not to me. So I'm going to sit here and sketch out, think about my firing schedule, and go ahead and get this thing fired. All right, I am making a slight modification. I really want to try to fill up that mold the best that I can. It's not going to be a soup bowl. There are definitely going to be holes in it, but I found in my stash that I do have some coarse Opaline, and so I am going to get out my little quick fire kiln, and I'm going to prime a shelf, and I'm going to fill it with coarse Frit and make tiny little Frit balls that then I'm going to drop into that piece. So that'll fill in some of those voids just a little bit more and give it a more fulsome look. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this thing set up. All right, so I've scattered some Frit across this, and then I took my tweezers and just, kind of moved it around a little bit so that I didn't have too much of it touching. There's some touching, but I wanted to kind of spread it out. And I actually have two of these little shelves, so I'm going to now stack a second shelf and go ahead and make a whole nother batch of it. All right, I got my second layer on there. Now I'm going to very carefully lift my kiln over this. I do not want to bump this and mess up all the Frit that I tried so hard to spread out. And then I'm going to fire this, and basically this thing is going to go fast. And so, I really wish that I just thought of this the first time when I fired the original dots. But for me, I don't have a second kiln other than this little guy. But this is a really quick solution. I don't have to clear off my shelf and start over again. And I can fire these. They'll be done and cooled, in an hour, maybe 2 hours. And then I can go ahead and finish my project. So I like this little quick fire. I don't use it often, but I really am glad to have it when I need it. For those of you unfamiliar with the quick fire, this is the kiln itself. The elements are built in rings around the inside of this. So you just put the whole hood down over your base. And then there's a controller box here with just an infinite controller. So you can't necessarily, program this kiln. You just turn it on, plugs into a standard household outlet, and watch your temperature over here. So I'm going to watch this, make sure I get to about 1500, get a nice full fuse, and then just simply turn it off. No anneal, no nothing. These little dots don't need it, and then they're going to go into a bigger piece that will get annealed anyway. All right, so here are my 2 shelves of dots. The ones on top got a little bit more opaque because they got more heat, and then the ones on the bottom were not getting enough heat, so stacking the shelves like that just didn't work very well. So I killed the kiln, I took this out, then I fired these separately. So these are in many cases more clear than these, but that's okay. I don't necessarily mind too much. I bought this little thing, gosh, this was a long time ago at Harbor Freight. I don't even know if they have it anymore, but I just love this thing. So I'm going to now get my dots off of here. And then now I can put them in a little vessel using the little thing there. So I'm not gonna like carefully place these dots. Well, maybe I will, I don't know. But I'm just gonna put some of these now smaller dots into some of these gaps and just fill in a little bit here and there. I'm not gonna use all of them. And then I will fire my piece. Oh my gosh, you guys. And gals, I use guys, but look at this. I am so enchanted with the way this turned out. If I'm honest, I wish it had a little less opacity. Is that the right word? I wish you could see the pearlescent a little bit better, and I'm not sure how it comes across in video. I'm still thrilled with it. I'm really glad that I added the Frit balls. I think that really makes a difference, and I'm quite pleased with those, and I can't wait to slump this. So very pleased. I'm going to clean this, just lightly, and put it in for a slump. I can't decide which mold I'm going to use, so I'm going to get a few out and make a final call, and then put this back in. But overall, quite pleased. All right, here it is, the finished piece. I'm so happy with this. Now, I ended up slumping it into a little bit more of a plate mold than a bowl, with the idea, and I conferred with my client first, but the idea is that this will display beautifully in the middle of a table, on a coffee table or something, but slumping it as a plate gives it a more shallow form, and it can be displayed nicely in a stand as well. I just love the magic of Opaline. I think it looks really, really cool. I'm very pleased with this. Unfortunately for me, I made plenty of dots, so I am going to take an opportunity to make myself one of these, I think, for keeps. I don't know, maybe I'll make one and sell it, but very, very delighted with this. So I hope you learned a little bit something about the magic of this Opaline glass, and as always, my video notes include my firing schedules. I went very low and very slow when I slumped this, anyway, quite happy with the results. Catch you later. Bye-bye.